Okay, my taxi ride story. Here in D.C., Uber started out as this service for limousine drivers who had spare time, and it was a little bit more expensive than a cab. I don't own a car, and usually Louise and I take public transportation, but occasionally things get a little nuts, and you got to grab a car. And in fact, every single day, I walk out of here and I walk down to Union Station. I take the subway over to the TV studios. But this morning, Uber has this new thing called UberX that's actually 18% less expensive than cabs, and they ding it to my credit card. It's an app. It's really I just love Uber. It really works well, and I don't like the cabs in this town. They're the worst cabs I've ever experienced in my whole entire life anywhere. There's some very nice people who are driving some of the cabs, but just in general, the way the system works, it's broken. So this Uber driver picks me up at my house or at the out in front of the marina. And he's driving me over here to the radio studio. And he doesn't know my politics. I don't know his. And he says, so what's going on with the government shutdown? And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, I can tell you I'm losing money. He said, there's not much going on in this town. And, normally I would be chock-a-block. I would be solidly always, my car would always be full. And right now it's not. And he says, and I got a friend who runs a restaurant, and he was of some sort of Asian ethnicity. So I got the impression from the way he was talking that his friend owned an ethnic restaurant, like a Chinese restaurant, something like that. He says, I got a friend who runs a small restaurant, and that's a pretty tight margin, that business. And if he goes even just a couple of weeks, really bad weeks during the time of year when he's expecting to have good weeks, it could really hurt him. I mean, it could really hurt him, and it is hurting him right now. He said, there are business people, he said, all over the city who, particularly the people who depend on tourism, which is a major industry here in Washington, D.C. Tourists are not coming because everything's closed, right? The monuments are closed, the Smithsonian, all the museums, they're all free all the time, open. People come from all over the world. They're not coming. And he's like, this is really hurting us. Now, this has nothing to do with the 800,000 to 1 million federal workers who've been laid off. This is the knock-on effect. Those federal workers who have been laid off are not eating in this guy's friend's restaurant. They're not having lunch there. Louise and I, last night, we went out to dinner. I think I mentioned in one of the fundraising things that we went out to dinner with some people who had donated money to Free Speech TV, and if at a certain donation level, you get to come to D.C. and have dinner with me and Louise, and we didn't even make a reservation. We just walked around the corner from the TV studio after the show was over and walked into this very nice Italian restaurant over on F Street, which we've really come to like, and just walk in. There were maybe 4 tables filled. I mean, these guys are freaking out. They're hurting. And it's like the Republicans, they don't care. As long as the bars are open, John Boehner's happy. This is so sad.